He's open to sending DOGE dividend checks to Americans.
Okay.
Like the idea of that.
I love that.
Yeah,
$5,000. Lucas Tomlinson is live at the White House with the details, or what we know so far, because we don't know a lot, Lucas.
That's right, Stephen. Here's some more animation for you. Sitting down in their first joint interview, President Trump and Elon Musk told our own Sean Hannity what they're doing to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from the government. And here was Elon Musk responding to the criticism of DOGE.
But the president is the elected representative of the people, so he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy. The overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt.
So that's $1 trillion. Now the Washington Post reporting Defense Department firings are expected to start soon. Pentagon agencies were told to submit lists of probationary employees after members of Elon Musk's DOGE team arrive. And with a budget of around $850 billion a year, there's plenty to cut, guys, including costly weapon systems the Pentagon doesn't want but forced on them by lawmakers on Capitol Hill. That's the challenge, officials say. Now, yesterday, a new idea sprung up on X. I'll read it out. President Trump and Elon Musk should announce a DOGE dividend, a tax refund check sent to every taxpayer, funded exclusively with a portion of the total savings delivered by DOGE. And Elon Musk responding, quote, "We'll check with the president." So how about that? Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sat down with our own Brett Baer last night. He says DOGE has already uncovered $50 billion in savings and says ultimately there could be several percentage points of GDP in total savings. So we'll have to wait and see on that, guys.
Hey, Lucas, real quick, regarding the cuts at the Pentagon, I know uniformed personnel would be exempt.
Correct.
But currently, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, employs 700,000.
877 cash now. 877 cash now. They have thousands, they'll help you too. One lump sum of cash they will take to you. If you get long-term payments but you need cash now, call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now.
877 cash now. We're just going to have this as the permanent cold open for the program, ladies and gentlemen. Today is February 19th. It is Wednesday, and we are one day closer to having Kash Patel as our FBI director. It has been a years-long effort by this program, and we are at the precipice of glory. We are so very excited to see you this morning. We'll be covering all of the breaking news out of D.C., some massive breaking news about Kash Patel and his nomination. Very good signs. We've been talking to a lot of little birdies, ladies and gentlemen. And we are headed up to D.C. In fact, today, we are going to D.C., and we are going to make sure that Kash gets in the chair. We might even physically be there. Kash in the chair. That's all we are going to be efforting. And the reason why is because Donald Trump is on a blazing saddle of glory last night with the buddy comedy Elon Musk doing must-see TV on Fox News. We were live for it, but we have the wrap-up for you this morning. Heartwarming today. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Okay, let's talk about this. We got to talk about this. The interview that spawned 100 million new memes. Donald Trump and Elon Musk wearing the tech support shirt, just chilling in the White House in front of a fireplace with a block of wood behind them. Inspiring the meme. You've seen Step Brothers? It's like a famous scene in Step Brothers. It's like the exact same thing as Sean Hannity interviewing him. So, what would you say you do here? Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Hannity actually said, "This is a hard interview. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers." These guys love each other, and that was made very clear last night. Charlie Kirk had a great post about this, where he says, listen, the deal here is that we've been trying to tell you this. Donald Trump loves his friends, and he loves the people around him, like, genuinely. Yeah, right there. What we saw tonight between President Trump and Elon Musk is the world's most powerful man, the world's richest man, are actual friends. This is what the left and the haters will never properly account for, because they have no friends. They have no capacity for friends. Every single relationship is totally and purely transactional. There's no humanity left in their cold, darkened hearts. And it's been sold at the auction block for the highest bidder, these people. And this is why they behave like that. This is why they behave like goblins. Could you, just taking a step back, could you sleep at night if you had embezzled billions of dollars from the American taxpayer? Have you ever been to East Palestine? Have you ever gone into a neighborhood or like an impoverished place in America and seen how tough life is for so many people? Have you ever seen a homeless veteran? Could you imagine stealing from those people? Like, how dark and blackened your heart must be to actually just fleece them? To know the Titanic is sinking, that's not what I believe, but it is what, like, Joe Biden and his class believes. To know the Titanic is sinking and to just strip mine all the brass off of it for your own sake, to loot the place as it's going to the bottom of the ocean with a bunch of people trapped inside. Like, that's the way these people see this country. It's why they're so cruel to us. It's why they view us as less than human. It's why they import other humans to replace us. It's why they could give a damn about what's going on in this nation. Does the war in Ukraine or a war in Israel, does that, like, help you? Does that fill the pothole on your street? Does that provide a better life for your kids? Does that make anyone healthier? Does that make anyone, like, more secure? God help us have a happier life here in America? In your homeland with your people? These are our people. That's the way we see it. It's not an economic opportunity zone. This is not a economic zone for taxation cattle. It's like a land with a history and a culture and a nationality. This is our home, right? That's not the way that these people see it. I'm sorry to get off my soapbox, but, like, we're going up to DC. We have these big meetings planned with all these various heads of the government agencies, and it's so refreshing to have people treat America like an actual country filled with people who deserve to be respected and, dare I say, like, actually have entitlement to their birthright, which is the American dream. Anyway, it is something that is so wonderful to see. Charlie Kirk going viral with this post, has 10,000 reposts, 66,000 likes right now. I've tried to explain this to people for years. President Trump is a good man who loves America, has genuine friendships that create more power and momentum for positive change. Any pundit and be able to commentate or calculate. All patriotic Americans should wish them both Godspeed and success. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So Charlie Kirk saying Trump's superpower, which we've talked about a lot on this program, that he's a human being and that he feels things like human beings do. He's not an NPC. He's not some Blorg from the world, like, created in a World Economic Forum lab. He's not some, like, spawned person who's been fed talking points their entire life, doesn't know who the hell they are, doesn't know what you've seen that on display. You've seen Kamala Harris. You've seen Barack Obama. These people live fake lives. They are fake people. They're not real. Turn on the lights. They disappear. Anyway, it's going to be hard to disappear this one from memory. It's amazing. Elon Musk kicking off his interview with Hannity at the White House next to Donald Trump, talking about what he has seen in Donald Trump. These two have spent an enormous amount of time together. Elon Musk practically lives it. I think Elon Musk actually does live. He has a permanent apartment at Mar-a-Lago. Here we go.
He's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that. You know, there's something nice about it.
Really is. You know, because I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him, but
Donald Trump saying, I love that. Like, thanks. It's like a really nice thing to say. People don't normally say nice things about me. Elon Musk, I would argue, the most newsworthy moment of the interview. And there were plenty of hilarious moments in the interview, meme-worthy moments in the interview. There's one where he acts like a velociraptor, which is really, really funny. Donald Trump, like, belly laughing here. As Elon Musk, this is what happens when the setup here is, this is what libs do when you mention the name Donald Trump. And they're like, wow. And I'm like, what is wrong? Donald Trump belly laughing there. But I would argue the best moment of the most newsworthy moment, certainly of the entire interview, was when Elon Musk explained what DOGE is doing. Yes, it's about waste, fraud, and abuse. Yes, it's about cutting redundant, zero-value government employees. But it's really about protecting Trump. How so? Ooh, this gets to the heart of it. Let's listen.
I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. So if you take for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order. Hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals, and yet they were still doing that even as late as last week. And so, we went in there and we're like, hey, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing, because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
No. You're both the...
So this is something that I hadn't really connected the dots to, and I hope it's illuminating to you as well. That DOGE is about enforcement of executive orders. Through technology, AI, and young geniuses, they're enforcing the orders. It's awesome. This is what DOGE does. Trump said in a previous clip, like, I would sign these pieces of paper, but then you'd think they get done, but they don't get done. There's this entire bureaucracy to stop what Donald Trump declares as an executive order. Now there's not. So in the $60 million that went to luxury hotels that Elon Musk discovered, we would have never known about that. And now everyone's been fired, then been gutted. Department of Homeland Security came to us and said, actually, it was the FEMA CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, that got fired. That's because of Elon Musk. Look at how happy President Trump is. One final little knock here. The two of these guys were going back and forth with each other. Again, Hannity says, it's like interviewing two brothers. It's like interviewing stepbrothers. Donald Trump roasting the DOGE team fashion sense.
He takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more than
support.
that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great. And you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done.
Get it done. By the way, speaking of people who are able to get it done, our friend Christopher Stanley quote tweeted us with a photo of himself outside of the White House in a hoodie. Mr. President, I wear a hoodie. It's too cold for a t-shirt. What a great timeline. What an unbelievable timeline. Elon Musk says DOGE's goal to cut deficit by $1 trillion. Our goal is to try and get $1 trillion out of the deficit. If the deficit is not under control, America will go bankrupt. What are they going to do with the $1 trillion in savings? Well, they might give it to you. Oh, yes. The DOGE dividend, Elon Musk said that DOGE is considering sending $5,000 refund checks to all U.S. taxpayers. The plan would be to send 79 million households a total of $400 billion, which is 20% of DOGE's projected savings for 2026. How would that work? Well, you would just get a refund. on your taxes. How incredible is this? What a timeline. Like this movement, if you implement this, we're going to cut the waste out of the government, and then we're going to give it back to the people so that you can fix your own pothole or buy yourself a new car. Like, one, this would be great for the economy. Two, more importantly, it'd be the single greatest thing the federal government's done for its people in a very, very long time. And so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The golden era is upon us. I think that the MAGA movement, President Trump can't run for another term. We'll see. But President Trump right now, as it stands, cannot run for another term. And so the person who inherits this movement will go on to win 47 states. With these kind of policies, messaged correctly, they're going to go on to win. And this is, this is J.D. Vance, man. This is why we have to have the team in place. You got to lock in, and you got to get the team in place. Now, President Trump has gotten his appointees all across the finish line at a blistering pace. He's outpacing Obama. He's outpacing Joe Biden. Kash Patel, one step closer to confirmation. Kash Patel, controversial nominee to lead the FBI. Really? This is Politico. This is trash. Okay, let's move over here. Here we go. Trump's FBI pick. Kash Patel clears first Senate hurdle in procedural vote. President Donald Trump's pick for the Federal Bureau of Investigation advanced on Tuesday, light at night. In a full procedural vote on the Senate floor, the Republican-controlled Senate voted 48-45 on a motion to proceed to executive session to consider Patel for a 10-year term, according to Mark Wayne Mullen, who wrote on X. The first procedural hurdle is done. We will get it done. John Thune is expected to file cloture on Kash Patel, set up a final confirmation vote on Thursday. Some are saying potentially Friday. It's a moving target right now. The Republican-controlled Senate defended Patel on X on Tuesday. This is the Senate Republicans going hard for Kash Patel. Here we go. Doing like a full thread about why we need Kash Patel. It's great. It's great. And this is obviously a major point for us. Kash Patel himself is a victim of political weaponization. So let's freaking go. Trump FBI director nominee Kash Patel picks up support from key GOP Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, says he'll vote for Kash Patel. Good. Thank you. I'm not sure why he was only able to get 48 votes. We called a senator this morning who said that there's still some squish going on here in the Senate. And obviously in a Republican-controlled Senate, you would assume that you would be getting 53 votes. Mitch McConnell's been voting against Donald Trump's nominees. But nonetheless, we had assurances that Kash Patel will pass. He only needs 50 plus one. You could call in J.D. Vance. They had to do this for Pete Hegseth. But nonetheless, Kash Patel getting close, baby. Getting close. And Trump is preparing the way. Prepare ye the way! Donald Trump says he's firing all remaining Biden-era U.S. attorneys. Oh, yeah. Julie Kelly will be joining us in just a second here to talk about this. President Trump says he's directed the Department of Justice to fire all remaining former Biden-era U.S. attorneys, claiming the department has been politicized like never before. Over the past 4 years, the Department of Justice has been politicized like never before. Therefore, I've instructed the termination of all remaining Biden-era U.S. attorneys, Trump wrote on Truth Social on Tuesday. We must clean house immediately and restore the confidence of America for the golden age of the justice system that begins today, ladies and gentlemen. And today, we have Julie Kelly on our program to talk about some of her most recent reporting, this from just moments ago, talking about how people are various resignations from D.C. U.S. attorneys getting completely and totally gutted, and also Tanya Chutkin and DOGE. What's really happening here? It's all connected, and it all runs right through one of Kash Patel's best friends and most ardent defenders, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, you'll have two of them on screen right now as the great Julie Kelly joins the program. Julie, good morning to you, and a very lovely morning. We are one step closer to Kash Patel. Let's begin with that. A very squishy 48-45 vote for cloture and to bring an executive session forward. Do you have any reporting that says that we may need to do extra work or arm twisting in the Senate for Kash?
Not that I see, but of course, something like that is always possible. You do have, look, this is the appointment, Benny, as you know, that the deep state, the ruling class is most afraid of. So I'm sure they are twisting arms as heavily as they possibly can to get some defectors, Republican defectors, but they will pay a price if anyone prevents the confirmation of Kash Patel. Because as you noted, he himself has been a victim of the lawfare, political lawfare by the previous Department of Justice. He has had a front row seat to all of this, dating back to his work on Devin Nunes's Intelligence Committee. He is the one that really found the ties between the DNC, Hillary Clinton campaign, Fusion GPS, all tied to the Steele dossier. So he's got, but he's a professional, as you know, Benny. He's a very serious individual. He was a public defender and a prosecutor. So he is going to exhume all the skeletons out of the FBI, hold people accountable, and clean up that agency to the extent that it's even possible.
I would, Dane, as a single warning and a shot across the bow, not RFK, not Tulsi, not Hegseth.
Right.
All of them together, all of them combined, I don't think matches the base, the MAGA base and the America First base, love and appreciation, care for, and fight for Kash. So not a knock against all of those individuals are friends of the show. But yo, don't, like, to these Republican cucks in the Senate, like, don't F around with this. Like, this will be the end of your, this is an end of your career vote against Kash. If you,
yes, that's
if
absolutely
you're thinking
right.
about it,
Right.
don't think about it. Yeah.
Don't.
Oh, okay. So we are seeing Donald Trump prepare ye the way for Kash. It seems like that's what's happening here. You texted me last night. You're like, there's a lot going on here with Donald Trump ridding the world of Biden prosecutors. Let's unpack it, Julie.
Right. So as soon as the president was sworn in, of course, he signed that executive order related to the weaponization of the Department of Justice. So his interim, his acting attorney general and acting deputy attorney general wasted no time getting rid of DOJ officials, top DOJ officials who were part of this lawfare dating back to, the Hillary Clinton email matter, as Loretta Lynch called it. So what was really clever, I think, Benny, is that they gave these top DOJ officials an alternative. You can resign, or we are reassigning you to this sanctuary cities enforcement group that they created. So that really prompted some resignations, including top DOJ officials. The same happened with the FBI removing heads of FBI field offices in Washington and Miami specifically. Those were the two offices responsible for the armed raid of Mar-a-Lago in August of 2022. So we've seen more resignations, but what happened over the weekend, Benny, is that the DOJ emailed the remaining U.S. attorney, Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys, notified them that their services were no longer needed, that they were terminated. And so that is the continuation of the cleaning of the house at DOJ, getting rid of these Biden appointees who we know would love to do nothing more than cause mischief for the Trump administration.
Yeah, this seems like okay. We were talking about this. We were talking about this with Mike Davis earlier in the week, who's like, the various judges are ruling effectively that Donald Trump must keep people in his cabinet who hate him, who celebrated when he was shot, who created the conditions for Donald Trump to go to jail for 400 years, who raided Melania's closet, right, and assaulted his teenage son, The judge is ruling that you must keep these people close to you, which is insane, actually.
It is insane. And this is what's happening in the DC courthouse, of course, forcing now, and this is what we're waiting for from the Supreme Court. Responses due today. We'll see what Chief Justice John Roberts does in the case of the firing of a man named Hampton Dellinger. Hampton Dellinger was appointed by Joe Biden as head of the Office of Special Counsel. Now, this is separate than the other special counsels like Jack Smith or Robert Mueller. This is a permanent, alleged independent agency. Now, here's the folly. If you are under the executive branch, you are not independent, right? You work for the president who was elected by the American people. This was sort of the basis of the president's executive order that he signed yesterday, reasserting presidential authority over the executive branch, whether you're a head of a department or you're one of these alleged agencies. So this is sort of the same thing as Hampton Dellinger. He was appointed by Joe Biden. He worked with Hunter Biden, Hampton Dellinger did, at Boyce Schiller during the whole Burisma scandal. So he has longtime ties to the Biden family. To your point, certainly no fan with Donald Trump, we can assume. He was fired on February 7th. On February 10th, he filed a lawsuit saying that he had been wrongfully terminated. And Judge Amy Berman Jackson, you're talking about Trump haters, that DC courthouse, as you know, Betty, we've talked about this for years, is filled with people who hate Donald Trump, Amy Berman Jackson among them. So she basically put a hold on his firing, reinstated him back to that office. And this is how it has now made its way to the Supreme Court. Of course, the DOJ and the president arguing that, of course, the president has a right to fire whoever he wants and replace them with his own appointees.
Yes. Well, you don't have a presidency if you can't do that.
That's right.
Like there is no if the judges are the president, then the president isn't the president. One of them is going to be the president, right? Like, so it seems like an insane time that we're living in. Judge Chutkan, though, am I misreading this? So Chutkan yesterday saying, is this a good thing? Like I saw some very generous headlines. You're talking about the DC judges. Yeah, here's this wild-eyed lunatic judge ruling effectively that DOGE does have the executive power to go do access anything in the federal government. Certainly not the ruling that the left wanted. Where's this one going to go, Julie?
So here's what I posted, Benny. And of course, I've covered Judge Chutkan since, really covering J6 trials and proceedings. And then, of course, her getting the J6 indictment handed down against the president by Jack Smith. So what she cleverly did yesterday is she denied a temporary restraining order related to a lawsuit filed by several Democratic states saying that they were going to suffer irreparable harm. Elon Musk and DOGE continue to access data at 7 various federal agencies. So they wanted a temporary restraining order preventing Elon Musk and DOGE from accessing this information or firing anyone. And then they would continue with a preliminary injunction that would put that on hold permanently. What Judge Chutkan did, which most of her colleagues have not done, is she denied the temporary restraining order. So she can kind of look like she's balanced in this issue, which she's not. What she very dangerously did, and I reported this after covering her hearing a few days ago, is she is setting up a court battle that would determine whether Elon Musk's role violates the Constitution, specifically the Appointments Clause. And this is what the blue state lawsuit is really trying to get at, which is disqualifying Elon Musk, saying he's a principal officer. He should have been nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Judge Chutkan said that in her ruling yesterday, that she has concerns that his appointment runs afoul of the Constitution. This is what she's setting up. The temporary restraining order is a nothing burger compared to what she is laying the groundwork to do. So I think that is what the biggest takeaway should be from her decision yesterday.
I don't trust any of them, right? I think that the Supreme Court needs to step in immediately. I saw this is lunacy. In Rhode Island, that guy is like the judge in Rhode Island. I think McConnell's his name. So I mean, a pox on the name McConnell on this program. The judge in Rhode Island says Donald Trump needs to come into my courthouse and beg my permission every time he wants to cut spending. I mean, this is insane, Julie.
Well, look, Benny, this is the consequence and the manifestation of no oversight of the federal judiciary for decades. Yes. Congress has completely fallen down on their job of oversight of these judges. We have judiciary committees. We have committees that are tasked with overseeing the judiciary. They have completely abdicated that role. So you can see now how these judges consider themselves omnipotent. They don't answer to anyone but themselves. And this is because they've run roughshod over Congress, and certainly we see the executive branch, certainly Donald Trump and his associates, and hundreds of January 6th defendants. So no one stepped in to stop these judges, especially in Washington, from doing what they have been doing. And so this is the consequence now.
Yeah, I think the Supreme Court's going to have to bite the bullet, right? They're just going to have to do it. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to say, like, we have a president and it's in the Constitution, and I'm sorry, you can cry about it, right? This is like right. the obvious path forward. And we have a 6-3 Supreme Court that's very, generally centered around the Constitution. So I have high hopes for that. High hopes, Julie. That's what I see. I see President Trump preparing the way for Kash Patel. I see him getting rid of all of the roadblocks and all the annoying work so that Kash can actually get to work along with Pam Bondi. What would you like to see carved up first? Kash Patel will, by every measure, get in this week. Okay? This week. I can't believe we're here to even say it. We're on the precipice of glory, Julie.
So it's surreal.
What do you want? What's your advice to Kash? What do you say? Go here first.
Oh my gosh, I know. In a dream world, Kash knows all of this. Of course, we're friends with Kash. We don't have to tell him much, but of course, I would look at the abuses related to the classified documents case by the FBI, that raid of Mar-a-Lago, what actually went down there. Mm-hmm. So I would kind of start there, which I'm sure that he will. But also, as Pam Bondi said in her weaponization working group memo, the abuses by the FBI, which are extensive and pervasive and cover every single field office, the abuses of the FBI related to the January 6th prosecution, how they really violated the law to investigate, arrest, and charge, and then help prosecute all of these J6 defendants. That is the worst example of abuse by the FBI, I think, arguably, I would say, by this FBI, that will have plenty for Kash Patel and his team to dig into.
Man, you were on here saying you better watch your ass, Letitia James. Now she's caught a case. I think that this is going to be just the... people have told me, get ready. This is just the start. So we're very, very excited for that. And I'm sure you are too, Julie.
Very.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the roadmap is laid before us. If you want to know where the roadmap leads, it should lead you right to Julie Kelly's X account. This is a must read every single morning. All right. Julie is the single most best sourced, and most knowledgeable about all this. She literally sits in the courthouse. She knows all the players. She knows all the games. Now that the game is afoot and the hunters have become the hunted, time to go to the person with the biggest crossbow. Go to Julie Kelly, who's on her way to 1 million followers. 840,000, Julie. Gee whiz.
Wow.
And of course, Declassified Live with Julie Kelly on Substack. Godspeed, Julie. It's going to be a great week for us. Let's go.
We'll see you at CPAC.
That's right. All right. See you, Julie.
Thanks, Benny.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as Julie Kelly noted, we are on our way to CPAC. We are on our way to CPAC right now. We have a flight to catch right now. But we have something special for you because we just wanted to note something. We wanted to put something special together for you. So what we've created for you, ladies and gentlemen, is the Kash Patel sequence of promises. And we will play that for you now. And the Kash Patel sequence of promises is what Kash Patel will do when in office. Some of these clips come from us. They become quite famous. Some of them come from other shows that are friends of us. But this is the Kash Patel sequence of what he will do once in office. You can see why we're excited. Let's go.
It's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word or whoever that guy is as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything. But how are you going to reward the FBI with a new headquarters building after their illegal surveillance on Donald Trump continues with a reauthorization of FISA, and we can't even get basic documents out? This is why America hates Congress. And this is why I'm tired of the Republican majority saying they're going to get the job done and failing.
Then we need to decrease what I call government creep with personnel. The FBI's footprint has gotten so freaking big. And the biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and rapists and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ. What are all these people doing here? Looking for their next government promotion, looking for their next fancy government title, looking for their parachute out of government. So while you're bringing in the right people, you also have to shrink government.
So a massive government reform.
Yeah. And you got to work with Congress to eliminate the billets. This is one of the things we did when I was deputy DNI. We got to DNI and I was like, okay, what do all these people do? We've got the CIA, so why do I have analysts doing the CIA's job here? Why do I have a floor of them? Like, give me a good answer. I don't know everything. I don't know a lot. But if you can give me an answer that satisfies their existence, I'm all in. Well, we just have our own people. Okay, well, now we don't. And we went to Congress and zeroed out a bunch of billets, and they hated us for it.
Why? Why would Congress hate you for that?
Not Congress, the public. Congress is like, great, you saved us money. You're the only agency that returned money this year because we didn't spend our entire budget. We were literally funding seats with no humans in them for years. And what the government creep that I was talking about is these agencies go to Congress every year. And again, this is why it's a thing of decades. I need 5 more seats here. I need 10 more seats here. Okay, you keep doing that. How's that going? Oh, we'll fill that seat next year. We're in the process of, interviewing people for that section. And that keeps, no one returns money. It's the biggest fiction in government that you can't return money. Every agency and department that I've ever worked for, when it comes to the fiscal end of the year, they're like, go on trips, go spend money. What? Just give it back to Congress. We can't do that.
Jack Smith has just been exposed by Judge Cannon of doing what? Lying to a federal court. These guys keep doing it. The judge just unsealed documents in the Jack Smith case down in Florida, which says the prosecutors themselves have admitted to tampering with evidence, to moving the very boxes from one location outside of D.C. to South Florida before they ever even charged Donald Trump. How in the world can you not be prosecuting and charging these constitutional gangsters that are at DOJ? And they learn it from the same place, the top down, the same AGs, the same DAGs, the same FBI directors who are cheering them on. I hope Judge Cannon, he's an actual fun legal thing that should actually be occurring. Judge Cannon should be implementing actual contempt proceedings against Jack Smith and the Department of Justice for lying to a federal judge and withholding evidence of exclusion and innocence from Donald Trump. Those contempt proceedings would be righteous, and I'd like to see those. Maybe we could put Jack Smith in prison.
I've asked this Congress to investigate where has this money gone. The American people are owed that answer because it's our money. It's our taxpayer dollars.
And there's a lot of really good reason to be concerned because, the Ukraine was known as a, place of corruption, a place for money laundering.
Yeah. It's not like we sent $1 billion, as if that was even a small number to begin with, right? We've sent 100 times that to one country. I don't know how this Congress is allowed to get away with it. And Zelensky is out there. He went on the world stage and said, Russia fired a rocket into Poland, which would literally be an act of war. Well, it turned out that Russia fired no such rocket. It turned out that the rocket came from the Ukraine and was fired into Poland.
And it was a mistake, basically.
If Zelensky's going to go out there and beg the world for more money and come to the U.S. and sit in the well of our Congress and say, we want more money, and then call and demand the new Speaker of the House provide more and more money, and call Mitch McConnell and say, we need more and more machinery, he needs to be more prepared about global statements that bring us to the precipice of war than doing what he did last fall with this missile attack, or this missile launch, I should say. And we just can't have full faith and trust by giving a leader $100 billion and having him say, I'm not telling you where the money went.
That is the most important. Restoring trust.
Yes.
In our agencies and departments. That the way to do that is not to get a piñata and just punch him mercilessly and hoping for some bubble gum to pop out. The way to do that is to literally give the American people the truth. And that's what they feared about Donald Trump. He's going to come in there and maybe give him the Epstein list and maybe give him the P. Diddy list. You know, he's going to come up there and maybe do all these things, and they are terrified.
Come on, baby. Go after the elitist predator rings, shut down the FBI Hoover building, lock up Jack Smith and all the lawfare agents, and clean house. Kash Patel, man of his word. I know this, ladies and gentlemen. We know Kash Patel for quite a while. Okay, we are on our way to D.C. We got work to do. So a little bit of a shorter show today. We love all of you. We'll see you in Washington. Many exciting things that we are going to be up to. Please follow along. And of course, we would never leave you without a verse of the day from Romans 5:3. We can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance. That's right. Kash Patel is perfect for the job because Kash Patel is a man who's endured it all, along with Donald Trump. He's somebody who's like gone through the fire. He was the first person that the January 6th committee actually called in to persecute in their own special way. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is wonderful to see biblical justice here, and it's great to be the front seat to this golden era with you. Okay, it's too exciting. We are excited, and we'll see you in Washington D.C. It's your boy Benny. March with us on to victory. You can't defeat happy warriors. See ya.
877 Cash Now. 877 Cash Now. They help thousands, they'll help you too. One lump sum of cash they will pay to you. If you get long-term payments but you need cash now, call J.G. Wentworth. 877 Cash Now. 877 Cash Now. 877 Cash Now. 877 Cash Now.
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal reads. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun, we sail for number one. Show come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun, we sail for number one. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.